There's a reason Polaris has been bulldozing their way through the ATV industry. They have great ideas and they execute them with supreme precision. There are days when it seems like everything Polaris touches turns to gold. Such is the case for the X2. The idea: build an ATV that allows one person to do more work or carry more gear than any other one-up ATV out there, but also allows you to safely carry two people. Does this sound appealing? There's a reason the X2 sounds so good on paper. It's because it does do what you've been telling your wife your ATV can do for the last decade. Let's not fool ourselves here, guys. We all do it. You know what I'm talking about. You want a new ATV, but your better half wants to do something silly like invest for the future, upgrade the old minivan to something more practical, or like redo the kitchen. The only way to get that new ride from the showroom to the shed was to oversell the crap out of it. You tell her it's useful. It'll make doing yard work easier. It's good for all kinds of things up at the cottage, and it'll even improve your marriage by giving the two of you something you can do together. Look me in the eyes and tell me you've never used that line. Okay, now tell me again without blinking. The problem, as you very likely know already, is that your current scooter really does none of the previous mentioned tasks efficiently at all. You wanted a new ATV to play in the bush, so that's what you got. Well, apparently Polaris is now in the business of saving marriages. Apply that same scenario to the purchase of an X2, and instead of you looking like a fibber in the end, you look like a hero. Under its skin, the X2 is very similar to Polaris's 2-up touring model. It has a stretched chassis that centers whatever is hanging on out back, whether it be a load of topsoil or your intrepid companion, over the rear axles instead of behind them, which makes carrying that extra weight far safer than on any traditional ATV loaded up to the same extent. Furthermore, this cargo box with its hinged tailgate means you can carry your load on the ATV instead of in a trailer behind it. Now, I'm in no way suggesting you should have your wife ride in a trailer. Just so we're clear, this will not improve your quality of life in any way. But when you are using your ATV for work, as promised, it is far easier to carry your load around in a box than it is in a trailer. If you need more of a sales pitch, technically not buying a trailer is going to save you some money. Sort of. The X2 has other utility-minded features besides just the box. It's got low range for hauling extra loads, and turf mode, which unlocks the rear diff so you don't tear up your lawn. It only takes a quick glance to see the Polaris X2 as a workhorse. The box in the back gives that away immediately. But I said the X2 can do all the things you promised your wife you could do with your new ATV. So where's she gonna sit on this thing? Well, that's where the 2 comes in the X2's name. Polaris engineered this cargo box with a transformable 2-up seat that can be deployed in seconds and provides a stable, mostly comfortable, king-queen style perch for your riding companion. Once she's aboard, she'll be greeted by raised footrests and somewhat awkwardly placed grab handles. To make sure that you can actually go places with your passenger aboard, the 2-up seat still leaves plenty of extra space in the cargo box for all the gear you and your woman will need for a romantic romp through the bush. This all sounds so great, doesn't it? The X2 is everything you've ever promised but couldn't deliver. And while it does answer a number of questions that are going to keep many buyers out of the doghouse, the X2 has some limitations that need to be discussed. For starters, the X2 is available with only a 550 power plant. There is no 850 option, nor is it available with power steering or any form of upgrade or limited edition package with extra goodies other than the front under-rack storage box. When you buy an X2, you get an X2. That's it. This is not a deal breaker. The X2 is built on a full-bore Polaris XP chassis that benefits from the narrow seat and floorboards afforded by the sideways mounted motor and drivetrain. It also still features an exceptional ride for 1 or 2 occupants thanks to Polaris's legendary independent front and rear suspension setups, and it still handles great. In fact, thanks to its extended wheelbase chassis, the X2 might even ride and handle better than a regular non-power steering 550 XP. Standard features like a nice gauge, quality switchgear, and trail-ready tires leave nothing to be desired that isn't mostly targeted at pleasing your ego. Heck, this base model only status could even be used as a sales pitch. honey, I didn't even buy the limited version, or something like that. The final point we need to make about the X2 relates to the comfort of its passenger seating. Lighter riders will likely find its transformable 2-up saddle decent. It's no lazy boy, and it doesn't hold a candle to the supreme plushness found on the Polaris Touring. Larger riders will likely find themselves a bit cramped on the back, and it's not hard to find the bottom of the limited seat foam on larger bumps. The trade-off here is that the alternative is a 1-up ATV with a hard plastic rack, so all things considered, for the passenger, the X2 is more than adequate. At the end of the day, the discussion of compromise as it relates to the X2 must come up. The truth is, you can buy a trailer and haul more stuff with your 1-up ATV. You can also buy a 2-up ATV that will pamper your passenger with suspension seats and ergonomic handholds. But you can't buy an ATV that can do both, let alone one that can do both better than the X2. This is a truly multi-function, multi-purpose vehicle that will exceed the sales pitch you're going to be giving when it comes time to buy one.